gonna get into this old elevator. Let's see what it looks like. Alright. Made by Otis. Floor. This thing is like super old, guys. Whoa. Alright. And we're in room 33. Room 33. Gonna go see if there's any manatees, but the name of this park is called Wakulla Springs. It was built in 1783. Anyway, we're gonna head on to the springs area. There's some of the trees. Supposed to be taking a boat ride around noon. Quite a ways. This is where you take the boat tours right there, but we're gonna go to this area. Gonna head over to the Diane is up already on the diving board. Don't believe there's any manatees because those people won't be diving. Just took a splash. It's pretty early to be jumping in that cold water, but more power to them. Limestone. All right,
75 parks in the state here, and they're all unique. And we do have many springs in Florida, but this is by far the largest. And it's probably the most diverse as far as wildlife goes. This is an incredible piece of property that was bought by Ed Ball back in the 30s. Before that, the locals knew about it, and there used to just be a little dirt road that would come down here for people to come down here and swim in it. Nobody really wanted to spend the time or effort to actually do anything with it till Ed Ball came around. Ooh, there's a gator right here on the left. Just popped out of the gators. I can guarantee you're going to see a ton of. I did see 2 manatees on my last tour, but those I can't always guarantee. They do swim around all over the river, up and down and side to side, so we'll keep our eyes peeled for them.
Oh wow, that's
Are these birds that are they still up in the trees up there? Yeah, we got a few left over. We had about 100 of them this morning. Those are our vultures. We have 2 different kinds. We have turkey vultures and black vultures. And they're typically this time of the day, they're gone. They take off, go out the boat. So the vultures are more than happy to come into the river and clean up any children I throw off the side of the boat. That always freaks out the elementary school groups that come on the boat with me. This bird that's on the left here with its wings spread out, that's an anhinga. That's the other bird that was just like that cormorant that we saw. It swims underwater and catches fish underwater. And we'll see one going upriver on our return trip on the other side. We get close to him. It's a really strange bird. It only has feathers on its wings and its tail. The rest of its body is covered with fur. And so when it goes underwater, that fur gets completely waterlogged. It makes them really slick, and that's why they're so maneuverable underwater. And Wakulla, they're probably the most dominant turtle in the river here, and they're named after the holes to lay their eggs, and they tear up our lawn all spring, and then we have to spend the rest of the summer cleaning it up. But
you hear them?
What?
That's cute.
That's actually a that's a female common moorhen. The one out in the middle there, the quickly. All these trees we have out in the middle here, these are called bald cypresses. They're really interesting. You'll see all these little knobs of wood coming out of the water all around the ground and around the base of them, and those are basically part of the root system. They're called cypress knees. What they do is they go into the mud and then they turn around and they come back up, and it provides the tree with a lot of extra oxygen, but it also, you can see where it broadens out the base. Look at this beautiful bird that just came into that little one with the white and black hood right into our left and front. It's called a hooded merganser. Just came into the park last week. They're very migratory. This white bird on the left here with the long orange bill, it's an American white ibis. And they'll stand on the edge there and they plunge around in the mud underneath the water, and they'll come up with crayfish and snails and things like that. I love these hooded mergansers.
Yeah,
that little white and black, that's the male. That little white and black hood, he can kind of open and close it like a sail. So he can ward off other males, or he can attract females with that little display of feathers on his head. We'll see quite a few of them as we go down the river. They just started showing up last week here, so we're happy to see them back here in the park. Oh, it's gone. See, it just jumped off there and went. Now look at it when it's in the water. When its head pops up, all you can see is its head and its beak. So people call it a snake bird because of the fact that it looks like a snake coming out of the water, and its body is completely submerged. And because they do get so waterlogged, that's why they have to come out and dry themselves out for an hour a day. Anywhere from the little 6 or 8 inch newborns all the way up to an 8 or 10 footer. See how much the current's moving out here. That just goes to show you how much volume of water we've got coming out of the ground, out of that spring. That spring's about 5-6 stories tall, and it's as wide as a 4-lane highway. So it's a huge. Now we got about 20 of them here, so they're definitely moving back into the park.
What is the
very cool bird?
That looks like the moorhen, but it has a white beak.
These 2 little birds right on the left here, the black ones with the bright white beaks.
Yeah.
Those are American coots.
Okay.
And there's also migratory. They've just come into the park just recently in the last week or so. There's a couple more coming up here on the left-hand side. But you can see that anhinga over there in the middle of the river where it's got its wings spread out. If that bird comes out of the water after it catches a fish and then tries to fly, it'll go about 4 feet and splash back into the water again. It can't get airborne for at least an hour. Those little brown birds out there, they're actually another little underwater swimmer. They're called a pipe-billed grebe.
These two in
And
the
they'll go
front?
underwater and they'll come up with a little tiny, I cannot believe the amount of,
Pretty.
and it always wants to grow up to be a great blue heron, but it never can. It's a specific species of bird. Actually, it's one of my favorites. Really, we should hopefully see some a little bit closer up. It's got beautiful color. And it has pure white feathers till it's about 6 or 8 months old. And then it sheds, it molts. And when its feathers come back in, they come in that deep, deep blue.
There's a gator.
You got a gator over here laying on the log.
Just laying on a log.
Right? Now, gators are, oh, there's another one on the left side of the log there too. You see just the back of it. So we got a few of them over there.
Oh, yeah.
Now they're cold-blooded, so they have to work all day long to maintain their body temperature. They get too hot, they have to get back in the water. They get too cold, they'll get up in the sun.
Oh
She got a little baby with her too.
Oh, look at it.
It'll come to the surface. They have to come up about every 2 to 4 minutes.
Take some
to
pictures,
run
Frank
there.
or Emily.
I'm gonna just let
Frankie.
the boat's just gonna run into the bushes here, but it doesn't hurt it. If I sit here with no engines running, a lot of times she'll hang out with us here. And she'll come to the surface. Come on up, girl.
Oh, how?
Yeah, she weighs about 1,000 to 1,100 pounds. I thought I saw one as we were coming. They like it here because this is in between the 2 channels and there's no real current.
They blend pretty good though.
They do, and so I'm constantly on patrol for them. Let me see if I can straighten the boat out here and we'll kind of follow up into the channel.
Well, he does this all the time, so.
Here she comes. She's coming to the surface for a breath of air.
Here she
Watch
comes,
her
guys.
snout
See her?
come up. A lot of times the mothers will come in here with their babies because there's kind of a dead spot here. There's no current. And they like to hang in here and eat all the little grass at the bottom. Here she comes. Come on, girl. All my fellow rangers, they call me the manatee whisperer because I almost never miss them when they're out here.
Oh my
I
goodness.
swear sometimes I think they hear my voice over the speakers and they come by.
Yeah, the sad thing is some people don't even know what a manatee is.
I know.
Oh yeah, sometimes there's, people that aren't from Florida and you mention it, they're like, what's a manatee?
Here she comes. She's down there, and people call them sea cows, but they're not related. They're actually related to elephants. But look at her snout when she's down there eating grass, and when she comes up, she has whiskers on her snout. And her snout's very much like an elephant trunk, just a shorter version of it. But she's gray. She's got hair on her body like an elephant.
She's holding her breath pretty good.
Come on.
Yeah, they can. When they're down there eating grass, they can hold their breath for up to 20 minutes when they're sleeping.
Oh, here.
And what wakes them up every 20
coming?
minutes
Is
to
she
come to
coming?
the surface for a breath of air is beyond me.
I think she.
Come on up, girl.
Like
Let's
the
see
boxes.
see your little nose.
See,
But we all of our boats have propeller guards on them, so sometimes we drive right over them and they go under the boat, and even if they do bump into the back of the motor, it doesn't hurt them at all. But you will see them sometimes. They'll have the little scars on them for propellers because they're free to go down into the part of the river that's open to the. Come on up and take a breath. I know you want
Say
to.
hi.
I know.
Come say hi.
But just the fact that we're kind of floating along here, she's not
I keep thinking she's
intimidated by the
coming.
I
boat
see
at
air
all.
bubbles coming up.
What she's doing now, she's actually using her flippers and she's kind of dragging herself along in the bottom of the river, looking for a chunk of grass. They have to eat about 10% of their body weight in grass. Look at her body, but in between her wings, how her body is covered with fur instead of feathers. She's got that blonde neck and shoulders. That's how you can tell it's a female instead of a male. But she'll hang out there for about an hour or so until she dries off. But in the weeds there. Oops, I better back up a little bit. I don't want to antagonize her. But you can see her babies laying up there on the mud.
Yes.
Are they still, I can't see them. Are they still up there?
Yes.
There's
Okay.
a bunch right there,
Yeah, there's usually about 6 or 8 of them. You'll see them in the water a little bit. You'll see them laying on the mud there. She has her nest here every year.
Is it that raised up area? Is that her?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Now, if one of us tried to step off the here, that's probably from last year's crop of gators. I was just out here 2 hours ago with my last tour, and a lot of these weren't even here. They This is the time of the day they start coming out of the water to lay up in the sun. A lot of alligators.
So that's a female cormorant?
That's a female, yeah.
Okay.
Now look at how pointy her bill is. When she fishes underwater, she pulls her neck real tight to her body, and when she gets close to a fish, she spears it. And head first.
Wow.
That's a big boy right there.
When is it that they're mating season when you hear them grunting?
The mating season, it's actually just started. This is the
Okay.
time of year the males and the females are starting to look for each other.
Do you hear them when they're grunting?
And yeah, you'll hear them out here roaring at each other.
That's creepy.
The males are very, very territorial.
Yes.
And a beautiful white egret there on the right there. You'll see a lot of them out here on this part of the river.
Oh, look at that. Hose them, right?
Another big one laying out here in the water. Like I said, we've got about so. There's another little baby gator over there. My co-ranger that I was talking to just before we left the dock here told me to watch out on both sides of the river here. Said they saw bunches and bunches of little gators. Then you realize now he's stuck in the bottom of a river full of alligators. Wasn't real thrilled about it, so he quit. And they ended up hiring Rico Browning. He was a kid here. He was a lifeguard at the beach. And they convinced him they'd pay him a lot more money to help him finish the movie than he was making as a lifeguard. So he put the costume on and helped him finish the whole rest of the movie. And he did such a good job of it. They actually hired him a year later to come and do the sequel. And he got so thrilled about driving the boat, learning my bird identification and all that stuff. I had a lot of boat experience, but not driving something this big through such a small channel. They finally said, all right, we're going to get passengers on the boat again. That's a big Florida soft-shell turtle. Good eye, right into the water there. And then it goes out to the Gulf of Mexico. The whole river's only 9 miles long from here to the Gulf.
So if it was a smaller diameter, you could see the water like gush
Yeah, what?
up. If it was a smaller diameter, you could see the water gush up.
The diameter of it?
If it was smaller,
Yeah, if it was